Kia ora koutou. Sometimes all it takes is one solid trade to make the session worth it. Today I finally felt back in sync with the market. I saw the setup, trusted the plan and executed cleanly. Here's how it went down. So I actually got up on time for 6:30 this morning, and as I opened my charts, I'd already had SOBR open on my charts. I'd watched it during pre-market and watched it do this move here up to 640. Didn't take a trade on it then, but it was, yeah, if you'd been in around 520, 525, was kind of an entry point there. Light volume though was the only issue, but it pushed up to about 640 and then came back down. Didn't trade it there obviously. Went to bed through this section here and got up, and at 6:30 it had broken up, just broken up through VWAP. I was a bit late getting in for the break of VWAP. It had already sort of pushed up to 560 and then got up to 578 and then started pulling back. So I thought it was looking pretty strong, and I got in at 546, just above the 9 EMA. So it was a good entry. Volume had come in on the stock. You can see the increase in volume here on that push through VWAP, and I was patient and waited for it to pull back, and it had made a bottom there on that second red candle, around 540. And I took an entry at 546 on this third red candle, just above the 9 EMA, sitting on 540. Got in with 50 shares. It pretty much held there and pushed into profit pretty quickly, and the volume started coming back in, and it made a push in that candle up to 590, 591, and I held through. A little bit of selling here around there. Pushed up to 608, and a bit more selling came in, and I hit the sell button on the bid as it was coming back down from 608, and I got filled at 695, so about here. So I was happy with that trade, happy with my hold. I was patient holding through the move, and when it hit some major resistance, that's where I took my profit. So I was happy I didn't sell early. There was some, feeling that I had to sell around this point here, where it was coming up to that resistance point around 580. Around here I was like, oh, I should sell, but I didn't give in to that. I held, I stayed calm and just let it run, and it pushed through that, and then I felt good. And when it hit up here, when it hit $6, I thought about selling straight away, but I thought, no, I'm going to see if it pushes higher. Sometimes when it pushes through a whole dollar, you can get another burst and it will push up to like 20 cents or something like that. But in this case, it didn't. It hit 608, hit some big sellers up there and started to sell off. So I was happy with that trade. It then pulled back here, and I thought about getting back in for another leg higher. But that topping tail there and this big red volume candle here sort of put me off that idea pretty quickly. Although getting in here around 570, 575, maybe there was a quick trade there to get up around $6. That's still around 15 cents. It's still a decent, base hit trade. But to be honest, I didn't want to risk it. And when it was, it wasn't coming up and breaking through the previous high. And also, these two topping tail candles here, one red and one green, wasn't really giving me confidence. And then the doji candle here, as it sort of, opened, dipped, and then ripped, and then came back down, and I'm not sure if it went that way or the other way actually, to be honest, I can't remember. But didn't give me confidence in it to get back in, and that was the right choice at that time, as it pulled all the way back down to below VWAP, almost back down to $5, but held around $5.12. So good trade, and good decision not to get back in for another leg higher, as it didn't push in the end. And that was, that was before 7 o'clock. So I was pretty early getting into that trade, and after that I struggled to find the right stock to trade. It was just, there were a lot of stocks moving last night. Like, what was the stock after SOBR? Was, I think BMGL. BMGL was one of the ones that sort of looked good earlier on. Pre-market. So yeah, this was sort of the next stock that popped, and it wasn't, it had sort of pulled back, so I wasn't really watching it. And then I noticed that it had come up to around $4, but I didn't take this entry here around 370. So it sort of came down to the 9 EMA, around 367, kind of a bit above the 9 EMA. Didn't quite come back to it, but yeah, I didn't take that move there from around 370 back up to, 479. It's a decent trade, but I missed that entry. And then as it came back up here to 429, once again, big topping tail. Didn't feel that was a good trade to get into, so I didn't trade that there, and then it pulled back, and I left that one alone as well. But I kept feeling like I was switching between stocks too much. SCAG was another one that sort of popped up and then sort of rolled over pretty quickly. So yeah, that had popped up earlier on in pre-market, and was, I think it might have been a leading gainer on the morning actually. But by the time I got there around 6:30, I'd just done this breakout through VWAP there, but it didn't look good. It was just pulling back. It didn't really get above VWAP again. Well, it didn't get above VWAP at all. Did do some good pushes though from the lows. If you go to judge the low, 890, up to 1052. Not a bad trade in there, but no, not a good stock for me to trade, so I didn't trade that one. What was next? SUGP. So this stock was a lower price stock, and I actually did watch this. I missed most of this first sort of grind up here. It was really indecisive about which direction it really wanted to go. But 85 cents, and then coming up to $1.05, and then it did break up to $1.14, and then came back down to about 90 cents down here, and did that a few times. Sort of popped up to nearly $1 to $1, just over $1, and then it would come back to around 90 cents, 89, 90 cents. And I did think about getting in as it came back down a third time, but I decided no, it's kind of come back down, and hasn't really managed to get back up to hit that previous high, so I left it alone. And then eventually it did break down below 90 cents, down to 75 cents. and then it rallied again. And to be honest, I missed this whole section through here. I think I noticed it again as it had broken through 120, and then was pulling back, and I thought, oh, it did actually break up over that high. But it's, I didn't, after this pullback through here, I was like, nah, I could get in off the VWAP and see if it pushes back up, but I didn't think it was going to do as well as it did, and didn't trade it. So did end up making a new high 125 up through there, but pretty grindy and looked pretty messy. So I stayed away from that one. And by the time the open happened, I was no longer trading. I'd finished around 9 o'clock, so I didn't see any of the open at all. But it actually did do a decent move up to 185 at the open. Looked like it went through a few halts, a couple of halts up on SCGP. I think that was the leading gainer on the day, possibly. SCGP and PROK, which actually popped up yesterday, made another move today in pre-market and looks like an open as well. Pre-market, it was pulling back, and then around 6:30 it pushed up to VWAP and pulled back again, and then broke up here. And I had this on a second chart, and for the life of me, I did not watch that second chart very well. It broke up through here, made a new, broke through that pivot point there, and came back down. And I saw that on the second chart, and I saw the pullback. And I did think about getting in here on the 9 EMA, but I was just a little bit unsure, and it was quite thickly traded yesterday, and even though I didn't bring it up on my main chart, I thought it was going to be a bit of a grind sort of stock anyway, but it actually did pretty well. It broke through that pivot point here and went from 490 all the way to 546, and then kept pushing higher to 655. So actually pretty decent move on PROK, and I missed all of it. Yeah, but a bit more of a grinding stock. Its float's quite high, around 94 million, so I didn't touch that one either. But definitely would have been a good trade to have gone in on either the break of this pivot point here and off the 9 EMA on that pullback, and then having a decent hold even up to 545 and re-entering. That would have been a good trade. And then at the open it pushed again to a new high, 713. Pretty good. CLDI was the last one that I sort of watched. This also was a lower price stock, a penny stock initially. It was trading around 50 cents. I noticed that it popped up to about 80 cents here and pulled back, and I thought it was kind of done and dusted, and I didn't really want to trade a penny stock, but then it pushed up, broke through that 80 cent mark and ended up hitting up to, and I watched it break over that 80 cent mark, come up to 90 and pull back, and even that entry here off the 9 EMA on that green candle there around 85 cents would have been a decent entry for a push through to $1. It didn't hit $1. I think it got to 99 cents, and there was some bit of a selling wall there, and it pulled all the way back down to 76. And I thought it was gone. I thought it was gone after that, but it actually rallied and pushed back up to $1.07. So not bad. It was quite quite thickly traded as well, I think, this stock. I can't remember what the float was on this one, but didn't take any trades on that. I was kind of flicking between those stocks all morning looking for an entry, but just, yeah, too many stocks moving and didn't know which one to concentrate on, so ended up not taking any trades at all after my first trade. So locked in $24 profit on the day. Yeah, so I only took the one trade on SOBR, 49 cents a share, 24.50 gross profit today. So with the $9 yesterday, I'm up 33.50 for the week. And yeah, if I can carry that on the next couple of days, it'll be nice to have a nice green week for the start of July. And getting back into actually taking some live trades, which has been good. So I needed that confidence boost, really, to get me sort of back in the driver's seat, so to speak. So yeah, that was pretty much my day. So in the end, it was one and done kind of session, and I'm happy with that. The lessons for me today is that, more opportunities don't always mean more trades. Focused attention and clean setup can be enough. If I'd let myself chase or overtrade, I might have given the profits right back. So, feeling grateful, I stuck to the plan and kept it simple. If you're on a similar journey, learning discipline, managing emotion, and trying to grow as a trader, I'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment below or follow along for more daily recaps and behind the scenes of what it really takes to trade with a small account. I will see you tomorrow. Hea popo.